Welcome to Francis Reads the Bible. Today, I'm moving on to Exodus chapter 7. I hope you read your chapter 6. So, God is telling Moses about the plans, what he's going to do. He told him, I'm going to make you like God to the king, and your brother Aaron will speak to him as your prophet. Because Moses kept complaining that um, he didn't know how to speak before the king, he can't talk, he's a stutterer, and this, and this, and that. And God told him, don't worry, I'll give you utterance. This was this happened chapters down the line, but it happened again in chapter 6. So God is now telling him, okay, no, don't worry. Aaron, your brother, will speak to him. But I'm going to make the king stubborn. And he will not listen to you, no matter how many terrifying things I do to Egypt or in Egypt. Then I will bring severe punishment on Egypt and lead the tribes of my people out of the land. Then the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord when I raise my hand against them. At the time that God spoke, at the time when they spoke to the king, Moses was 80 years old and Aaron was 83. Okay, as always, in my thoughts, I think God is doing this not just to the people of Egypt, but the gods of Egypt. So this whole showdown was between God and the gods of Egypt. He was trying to show them that he was the mighty God. That's what I think, though. So and it's about to start. You will see what I mean down the line when I say it's about to start, because from the first um from the first plagues, okay, then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, if the king demands that you prove yourselves by performing a miracle, as in to show that to show the king that, oh yeah, a God sent us, you have to show signs now. So God told him to tell Aaron to take his walking stick and throw it down in front of the king and to turn into a snake. This was no more Moses. Remember when they were sent the first time, it was Moses who did the throwing of the stick down. Now it's Aaron's stick. So, and like I said before, it's interesting that God didn't reject Moses despite all his, I can't do this, I can't speak to the king myself, I can't do. And now God is telling not Moses to throw his stick down, but Aaron, to throw his stick down. So Moses and Aaron went to the king and did what God told them to do. Then in 11, the king called for his wise men and magicians, and by their magic, they did the same thing. Like they threw down their walking sticks, and the sticks turned into snakes. Like come on, our gods can do it too. But Aaron's stick swallowed theirs. That is, Aaron's snake swallowed theirs to show them that, yeah, your gods can do this, can turn this stick into snake, but mine is bigger. Like I'm bigger God. Like I said, God is doing a showdown to the gods of Egypt. I'm the bigger God, and he swallowed all the snakes that were turned, all the sticks were turned into snakes from the powers of the gods of Egypt. And as God said, even though the king of Egypt saw all that happened, the king remained stubborn because God has made his heart stubborn. You know. And another thing I'm learning from this, one thing I'm learning from this chapter is sometimes God lets things happen to show his might and his glory. So that situation, glory will come to him from it. And then sometimes some battles are not just physical, they are spiritual. But we're looking at it from physical eyes, like see the king, the snakes, the walking sticks being turned into snake, everybody showing their power. But God's snake swallowed the snakes of the other gods. So it's like a showdown. We're looking at it in a physical realm, like snake, but it's a spiritual showdown. Like okay, that's always my thoughts. And also, like I said in previous episode I did, that was in chapter 5, sorry. God can make the heart of anybody stubborn or listen or kind towards you. Yes, God has given man or people free will, but sometimes God steps in to achieve an aim or a purpose, by turning the heart of that person any way he wants. be the person a king, a CEO, whoever it is. I'm saying it now so I don't forget down the line, you know. So the king's heart was that way because God made it that way. Because you're wondering, you're seeing this person's snake swallowing the snake of all the other people you brought. I should tell you that that God is a bigger God, but God's controlling his heart. Then in 14, God said to Moses, the king is very stubborn and refuses to let the people go. So go and meet him, in the morning when he goes down to the Nile. The Nile is a river. Take with you the walking stick that was turned into a snake and wait for him on the riverbank. Then say to the king, the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, sent me to tell you to let his people go so that they can worship him in the desert. But until now you have not listened. Now, your majesty, the Lord says that you will find out who he is by what he is going to do. Look, I am going to strike the surface of the river with this stick, and the water will be turned into blood. The fish will die, and the river will stink so much that the Egyptians will not be able to drink from it. So God now told Moses to tell Aaron to take that same stick, and hold it out over the rivers, canals, every water body. This, as always in my thoughts, this is to show Pepe to the marine spirits and all the other whatever gods in the waters of Egypt. Because the Egyptians worship there's an Egyptian god in the waters. What's his name again? Trying to remember his name. I have to Google that. But yeah, they worship a god of the river. That's why apart from the king going to the Nile to go bathe, he's going there to do some other things. So Aaron was told to do that with the same stick. Like I said in chapter episode 5, sorry. Objects have powers if you give them power. Like they can be used for good, for evil, or whatever, depending on the power behind that usage. Like you see some certain items, you'll be like, oh, Christians shouldn't wear wigs and whatnot, that the hairs are from dead people. And this, like I said, it's the power you give a thing. Yes, some things have been used for evil, some things are just plain, no evil attached to them. Like it's the power you put into a thing, you know. So objects can carry power depending on the power that was put into it. So then Moses and Aaron did what God told them to do. Everything became blood. Then in 22, the king's magicians did the same thing by means of their magic. And king was as stubborn as ever, like, my magicians can do it too. Everything, they turned water into blood as well. Our gods are different because Egyptians had different gods, like many gods. Our gods have powers as well. So he refused to listen to Moses and Aaron. Instead, he turned and went back to his palace without paying any attention even to this. Then all the Egyptians dug along the bank of the river for drinking water because they were not able to drink water from the river. 7 days passed after the Lord struck the river. The king still did not change his mind after that 7 days. I can't imagine how everywhere must have stank. Dead fish, dead water animals and whatnot in the rivers, in the ponds and whatnot, and no water. You have to be digging for water. Like when you dig land, all the way down, you can get water. So yeah, that's what they did. And still, the king did not change his mind. Concern him because God had said from the beginning he was going to make the king stubborn. That no matter what was done by Moses, the king would not change his mind. Like I said, I believe this is God trying to show not just people of Egypt, but the gods of Egypt how far, like, I'm bigger than you guys. You guys have forgotten. Fine, let me show you. You know, it's not this whatever was not just physical, it was spiritual as well. Like I said, that's what I believe. And as always, these are my thoughts. I'm not a pastor, teacher, or any of the positions in the church today. So this is Francis Reads the Bible. God bless you. Goodbye and see you next time.